everybody, he's about. I'm back for the second episode of my mini series Tips at 2. I hope you're all well. We're doing Tips at 2 again, won't keep you long, but I just thought it would be useful to come on every day with a couple of bits of advice based on what I'm seeing when I'm out and about. So I hope you find this helpful, and I hope you don't find it patronising, because it's not intended in that way at all. Yesterday, if you didn't see, we covered the use of masks in public. The current advice from the government on that being that if you are going to be somewhere where it's difficult to maintain that 2 metre distance, that they would like you to wear a face covering. So that doesn't mean you need a medical mask, doesn't mean you need to source yourself any kind of medical product. You could simply make something yourself, and again there's details on the government website of how to do that, and you can do that using a t-shirt and other bits. I'm not very good at stuff like that, or you can get a friend to make it for you like I did. But essentially just something to cover over your nose and mouth. But the key thing of what I was telling you yesterday is really that once it's in place, leave it there, okay? So the main thing that I'm seeing when I'm out and about is people constantly doing this. So bringing their dirty hands up towards their mouth with this nice moist environment that your face covering has created, and just lots of this going on, and actually going to make yourself more likely to pick something up. So today we are swiftly moving on to the second observation that I have noted over the last few weeks. And today we are going to be talking about wearing gloves in public. So again, as I said yesterday, I think it's really understandable that I'm seeing lots of mistakes out and about, because this is a first for us. We're not used to wearing masks. It's just not in our culture. We have never done that before, and this whole situation is brand new. So again, I can totally understand some of the things that I'm seeing that don't really make much sense. So I'm going to give you really brief, simple overview. Don't want to bore you, but I thought maybe if you kind of understood what the gloves do, it will help you to decide whether they're necessary or not. Okay, so if we think about a hospital setting, which is where we wear gloves most of the time. If I'm looking after 2 people, let's say we've got Mary in bed 1 and we've got Florence in bed 2. So I do some personal care for Mary without any gloves, and then I move over to bed 2 and do some care for Florence. So whatever bacteria, viruses, germs that Mary has, I have on my hands now, and I'm now giving them to Florence. So what I'm going to do to stop that from happening is I'm going to put on a pair of gloves. So I'm going to do my personal care for Mary in bed 1 with my gloves. But if I just then move over to bed 2 to take care of Florence with my gloves, it's no different, is it? Because whatever viruses, bacteria, germs Mary had are now on my gloves, which I'm now going to go and use on Florence. So what do I need to do? I need to wear my gloves for Mary. I need to take them off when I've finished. I need to give my hands a good wash in case I've touched any of the outside of the gloves as I've been taking them off. I need to put on a fresh pair, and then I need to go and attend to Florence. So the whole point of gloves in a kind of medical environment is to reduce the spread, okay? To stop spreading things from A to B to C. So, that being said, you're out doing your shopping, you've got your gloves on, okay? You've got your trolley or your basket, you're picking up your bits, putting them in your basket or your trolley, you're looking at some things, no, I don't want that, I'm putting it back. You go into your cash desk, you're getting your purse out of your pocket or your wallet, your cash, your card, you're paying the person, you're putting all your shopping into your shopping bags, and then you're making your way home. It might be on the bus, might be on the train, you might need to get your wallet out again, you might need to get your car keys out, you might need to open your car, you've got to open the boot, you've got your gloves on. So you know, if you were super prudent, you could get to your car, you could remove your gloves without touching the outside of them, and then have something to wash your hands with, and then put on another fresh pair of gloves. But now it's getting quite complicated, isn't it? And for those of you that are on your public transport, you know, that's not possible because you're going to need to wear them the whole way home. So then you get home, you've got your gloves on, which by now are dirty. They're covered in whatever it is that you've been spreading all around the shop. You unpack, you take your gloves off, you give your hands a wash, you unpack your shopping, which has got all of the bacteria, viruses, whatever that you've touched with your gloved hand on those surfaces. You're back to square one, aren't you? So actually, the wearing of the gloves is just like having a second skin. That's all you're doing, you're having a second skin. So in terms of protecting yourself, it's of very, very little value because you're still touching lots of things. That bacteria and virus is still there. So when you get back to your home, if they're disposable and you take them off very carefully without touching the other surfaces of the gloves, as I said, you've still got the issue of all of the other contact, your cards, your banknotes, your wallet, your purse, your bus pass, your car keys. You know, it's complicated. So the wearing of that single pair of gloves is not bringing you that much value. Alternatively, you might decide to wear something that, you know, you can wash. But again, then instead of putting something straight in the bin that has potentially bacteria and virus covered all over, you've now got something additional that's lurking about in the house, and unless you're extremely efficient and they go straight in the washing machine and wash them, then that's fine. But the point is that walking around wearing gloves, touching everything as usual, touching your shopping, having to make your way home, it's really not giving you any protection. The main way that you can protect yourself is about hand washing, is around trying to touch as little as possible when you're out, which again, if you're doing something like shopping, is pretty impossible. So for me, the face mask has potentially some value if you're in an environment where you can't keep your 2 metre distance and you're aware that you shouldn't keep pulling the mask up and down, bringing your hand to your face, wearing it around your throat, smoking a fag, all of that. The gloves, they are doing very, very little. All they are doing is acting as a second skin, and you are still got all that bacteria, all that virus potentially on them that you are then still touching everything with. It's a pretty impossible thing to carry out in public life. So in a controlled environment where you're on a ward, where you know, you have ready access to sinks, to soap, to hand towels, then reducing spreading infection by using your gloves, washing your hands, putting on fresh gloves is very easy to do and effective. We know that it's very effective at stopping the spread of infection. When you're out doing your shopping, it's not the same, I'm afraid. So for me, the danger of wearing gloves is that it's going to give you this false sense of security. I'm not quite sure what people think it is doing, but they obviously do think that it is doing something helpful. And like I say, I understand that this is scary times and we're all, you know, very anxious to protect ourselves, protect our families, and all of that, keep well. So we want to do everything that we kind of see and think, oh gosh, you know, I've seen someone doing that, perhaps I should do it. But when you think it through, the value of wearing gloves when you're out and about is negligent. It's non-existent, I would say. And added to that, I think the danger is that if it's making you feel safer and it's perhaps making you less vigilant then about washing the hands, about realising that everything that you've brought home has the same potential to have harmful virus, bacteria, material on it, then actually you could be doing yourself more harm. So for me, the mask has its place if it's used properly. The gloves, I would say, don't waste your money.